reappointed zoning officer, and as we've discussed, and we discussed in executive session, I believe our attorney feels that since that you don't have to reappoint a zoning officer, it's basically an employment position, and until you get another zoning officer, that's I think when you have to do your appointment. Is that correct, Tim?
Well, right. The zoning officer is not a yearly appointment that's required under the second-class township code. She's an employee until she's terminated. As I understand, I was not at the reorganizational meeting last week. I've advised the board, as John said, that Renee, and as Dave just said, that Renee is still an employee at this point in time until a motion, or if a motion is made to terminate her employment. So, and obviously I've advised the board, as David said, to appoint an interim zoning officer to make sure that the services are delivered as soon as possible.
All right, then, if I may ask, if her status is an employee, to this point, I see no just cause for termination. Typically, you would show just cause by saying she's not doing her job, or she's doing this incorrectly, and then you take the steps to correct that. If you're terminating her because she is doing her job, that's wrong. That's not just cause. And I want to know why you made the decision you did. Not just an overall, we want to go in a different direction crap. I want to know why. Show me just cause.
My name's Boyd Coral, and as a taxpayer and homeowner and a lifelong resident of this township, I do feel we have a right to know what the motivation was, the reason. We still haven't said anything to that effect. People keep asking what the reason was that warranted her dismissal, and you still skirt the issue. You don't say anything to the effect of it. I think we have a right to know, anyone that's a township resident. You know, I was here before there was any zoning enacted. I was here when the ordinance was written. I was here when it wasn't enforced. They hired her to enforce it. She did it. She irritated some people, but it was always enforcing what was put in front of her. I've never heard anything other than disagreement with her, but as far as the enforcement of the zoning set forth in front of her, I've never heard any problems. And I've had to get a lot of permits, as has my family and whatever.
All right.
I'd like to make a comment. I appreciate everyone being here today. I've enjoyed my time here with this township. I put my heart and soul in this township. I moved into this township when I started. There was a petition that was circulated around to the residents because they wanted me to live here. So I made this my home. It's been my home. I've taken this job personally because I look at the township as my family. And I've tried very hard through the years. It is a difficult position because you can't always make everybody happy no matter what you do, because it is an ordinance. All I do is I put forth whatever the wishes are of the board, because that's all I'm in charge to do. It's the people that, and the township ordinance is created by the people that are here. All I do is administrate. That's all I'm given the ability to do. As with every new board member that comes onto this board, I always welcome. And Dave, you've never even given me a chance to say hello to you. Within 15 minutes of coming in to a reorganizational meeting, you cut my strings, and I never even got a chance to say hello, welcome, or anything with you. And I had no animosity towards you. I had no opinions about you. And I actually had no preconceived ideas. I worked with you, and I thought on a very professional level when Sierra Nevada had to come into the township and you needed to get some direction from the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors to move that project through in Benner Commerce Park. You communicated with me. You said that you would really like to have our township zoning consultant come up from Lancaster. And the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors and our consultant gave you the thumbs up and welcomed and decided to do whatever we could do to change that ordinance to bring Sierra Nevada in. And that was my last dealings with you, which I thought were very professional. I thought the way we handled the project was well. So I'm very, very taken back that you don't want to work with me. I really am. I've worked with many boards that have come and go, and everybody does have their ideas. But I work at the will of the board, and I've only put forth the ideas that that board wants. And I'm shocked that you're not giving me that opportunity to work with you. I really am. And as for Randy, I've worked with Randy for the past 2 years, and I've only ever given Randy the respect. Yes, we had some disagreements about some things that happened down in Milesburg. But Randy, if you remember, when those issues came up in Milesburg, I called you and I said to you, make sure you have your permits because people are upset in Milesburg about what's going on with the filling of the flood zone. And I called you and I said to you that because I was very concerned because people were coming to my husband and saying to my husband, what's going on down in Milesburg? Your wife's a zoning officer. What's going on? What's going on? I stepped away from that. The people in Milesburg that were upset with you took that challenge up with you in Milesburg. I never attended a meeting and I never showed up to a meeting. That was handled separately. And I thought you and I put that way far behind us when you came into this office. I have treated you with respect. Anything that's come into this office, I've called you. Any actions, I've treated you the same as all the other 3 supervisors. So for you to come up and say that you want to have a different direction, you've had 2 years to discuss things with me and you never have. You've never given me an opportunity to even address a concern that you've had. I understand you've never liked zoning. I understand that. You've told people that. I've also heard that you've told a lot of people that as soon as you got elected, you were going to make sure that you got rid of the township engineer and you got rid of the zoning officer. So I really question whether or not these are really your motives at this point, because I don't have any history on Dave. I have nothing to say that Dave has a personal vendetta against me, because I've only had a professional working relationship with him up to this point. I question your motives now, because I don't really understand. You've not expressed to me in 2 years any dissatisfaction with my performance whatsoever. And if we've had issues that have resolved with residents, I've brought them to you folks, all 3 board members, and we've discussed them. There's been no backdoor politics on anything. And if there's been issues, I've asked the board how they've wanted to handle these issues, because I knew they were delicate and I knew that they were going to cause problems. And I made sure I got board direction before I even handled these things. So I don't know what the direction is of this township. I'm very concerned